Okay, the next question says the volume of runoff measured at 200 meters in study 1 for the 4 wind speed is the best represented by which of the following graphs? So for this one, you have to go back to that line chart and you're looking for data at 200 minutes. So if we come back up here, here at 200 minutes, we have the one that reached its highest peak. So with the wind speed of 2.5, it's going to have the smallest bar. And then your second smallest bar will be the one that didn't have a wind speed at all at 0. And then your two middle ones, 1.0 and 0.5, should be very close to 0, but should have the same bar height. So we come back down here and we look for the bar graph where 2.5 is the smallest. So we can eliminate H because it does not have the smallest. And then we're looking for the bar graph where 0 has the next smallest. So then we can eliminate this one because 1.0 is smaller than 0. And we can eliminate this one because, again, 1.0 is smaller than 0. So we come over here, and does it look pretty accurate? 2.5 is the smallest. 0 is the next smallest, and then 0.5 and 1.0, the bars look to be the same. And so that's how we got J for that one. And then lastly, it says, which factor was varied in study 1 but kept the same in study 2? This is another one that took a little bit more investigation. The majority of you chose the depth of sand layer, and while it did discuss that it was going to omit the sand layer for the second study, it was a factor that was changed, but it was not varied in the first study. The only thing that was varied in the first study was the wind speeds. So if we come back up here in the first study, and you can see the wind speeds was what was varied. And then if you look at the second study, they actually did vary whether if there was, if it had a sand layer and if it didn't have a sand layer. So that would not be the case. That was varied, that changed within that study. But the one thing that they kept the same because they wanted to determine how much of the sand layer had an effect. In order to do that, then you had to keep the variable wind speed the exact same. Or otherwise, there would have been the question of, was the sand layer actually the cause, or was it the wind speed the actual cause of change, of runoff change? So whenever you're reading your questions, if you kind of make it make sense to you, it takes a little bit more investigation sometimes, but I think with more practice, for those of you that missed on these, you will get better. And you should note that only these graph analysis will be added on quizzes. They will not be on the tests. And I would like to remind you that I did provide this one before the quiz, and I will normally do that. I won't tell you which one, but there were two different sets of graphing questions, and I chose one set from what I gave you. So you definitely want to look over whenever I give you resources like that. You want to look over them in the future. Okay, if there is a question that I didn't go over, I'm going to skim through real quick just to see. But if there was a question that I didn't go over, if you'll just give me drop me an email. Again, this was one that a lot of people got wrong, and it was really just confusion on the units for mass, which is here, volume. No. Mass is here, volume, density, and weight. So make sure you know those, what units goes with what measurement type. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. Let me know if I needed to go over anything further. Once that you're able to memorize this stair step, once you're able to memorize the stair step and write that down properly, which there was a lot of people who were able to do that, and those who were able to do it were then also able to correctly convert their numbers into, convert their units from one unit into the other. Okay, well, let me know if you have any other questions.